Here's something we don't see every day. This is Merchant Automotive's Duramax powered sand rail.
The car is here today to work on the tuning and to look at the horsepower and torque curves to make sure that we're really getting the most out of it for its given package. We'll use the car for a lot of different things. We race up a ski hill covered in snow in March in Michigan. There's other stuff that is quicker, but nothing that is in that time frame and mile-an-hour range that can do it over and over and over and over and over again the same way we can. So that definitely sets us apart and puts us at a little bit of a different playing field than everybody else in that sport. The sand rail project was something that we wanted to put together to kind of showcase the different applications that the Duramax platform can fit into. Somebody can come up and look at it, and a lot of the parts are something that, oh yeah, I want to make this upgrade next, I want to do that. So it's a nice learning tool and very realistic to the real world guy that wants to get a little bit more performance out of his truck.
Merchant Automotive brought 2 vehicles to Duramaxtuner's Dyno. The other was the company's LB7 shop truck, lovingly referred to as OJ. He just beats the hell out of this thing. He sled pulled with it. It's a shop truck. It's got a lot of weight up front. It's got a little extra on the fuel system side. Perfect candidate for a Stealth 64 turbocharger. That's exactly what they put on it. Now we're going to dyno it and see where it lands. Filter minder, Eric? We made a couple of mechanical adjustments, then tweaked the tune.
I'm flashing it in right now, and we'll run it again and see how we come out.
By the end of the day, that LB7 went from a stunted 470 rear wheel horsepower to a lively 590.
Driving it last night, it was like a whole new truck. It really made a big difference. The power is right there. It's not bellowing black smoke. The nice thing with that turbocharger in particular is its price point is very close to just a stock replacement charger. On the install, it literally drops right in just like a stock application. There's a lot of other turbo upgrades where it changes a pedestal and changes this, and now you're fighting with the downpipe that doesn't quite fit right, or you've got all these other variables or things that now are coming into contact, or drain lines that don't work, and you're fighting with all that stuff, whereas this was factory, everything drop in, extra performance, really slick, definitely fits our customer base very well.
Back to the sand rail. Before we tune the rail, we first need to establish a performance baseline using the setup that it rolled in with. Unfortunately, that wasn't very easy considering we had a super soft set of Mickey Thompson 28s. Soft tires don't work very well on dynos. They get hot and sticky, overheat, and then they slip. By switching out to a set of basic truck tread tires, we were able to get something that would stick to the rollers on every pass and not get greasy and slip. Now it took a few runs, but we were able to get the thing locked down to the rollers and get a consistent baseline established. From there, we get to work on the tune and make other mechanical adjustments like gear changes and shift changes to maximize the performance curve. The Merchant Automotive sand rail races on a 300-foot track, typically reaching speeds between 85 and 90 miles an hour in 4 seconds or less. To improve those numbers, we need to maximize the power output over that 300 feet. So let's do a gear set change and see if we can move this way.
We're going to a 2.49, so it'll be a big change, should move that graph how Nick's hoping, and we'll see where that puts the power and lines everything up.
After a couple of runs, we've managed to shift Merchant Automotive's sand rail power curve to the right exactly the way we wanted. In 536, 533, so we're still 30 horsepower up on what you had when you came in here.
Nice.
On top of that, we clocked an 89.7 miles an hour, the highest mile an hour of the day, at just over 4 seconds in the 330. That's going to translate to sub 4 second runs in the 300 foot. These are the best runs of the day. We made a lot of progress.
So I'm really excited to get it out to the racetrack in the sand, in its real world application and try it. So I think it's going to be, might even be a handful. So should be fun. Looking forward to it. Very pleased with the day here at Duramaxtuner. Nick has been just absolutely wonderful to work with. Had a great time along the way. Him and I both learned a lot about the car, about even just what it took to get the thing strapped down hard enough to be able to hold it. So Was a bit of a process, but very worthwhile.
This is one of those days where your plan for the day actually goes through and everything happens exactly as you envisioned it happening. It just worked out awesome. My whole goal with having Nick bring a sand rail here was that we would be able to build a test that would test the rail on the track very similarly to how he is when he's running it, so that our test on the dyno is exactly the same test that he runs down the 300-foot track. As it turns out, our mile an hour and ETs matched up very closely to what he was experiencing on the sand. So first thing we did was establish a really consistent test, and we got back-to-back-to-back runs that overlaid power numbers and times, and that worked out really nice. Then on that test, we identified where the weaknesses are in the rail as it sits. So where does the power curve fail the car? Where can we make improvements? And then we just went in and systematically hit those parts of the tune, hit that part on the drivetrain, and got the car to make power through the whole run. And as a consequence, we picked up 3 miles an hour in the 300-foot test and cut the ET down. So, and on top of that, we were able to pull 6 degrees of timing out of the car, a bunch of fuel. It runs much cleaner. I mean, drivability in a competition vehicle, take it or leave it, but if you're running around the dunes in that thing having fun, I mean, blowing smoke on everybody gets kind of annoying after a while. EGT's much lower. I mean, all in all, he left here today with a much nicer running car that runs quicker and is going to last him longer. And we got to talk about all sorts of cool stuff with Merchant Automotive. Really excited to work with those guys moving forward. I'm Nick. Thanks for watching.